My mic is on, ready to go. Third time's the charm, right? Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Witch of Wonderlust here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my third time trying to record this video. I have 3 different books to review for you today. These books I've read through April. Today I'm drinking this mountain huckleberry tea, drinking it iced because it's really hot here in LA. So, actually, get some of this pre-workout in here. Come on. Okay. Also, my AC is on, so if you can hear that, my apologies. I will be holding my microphone. I do know that some of you, especially some of you who are new here, this is my microphone. I was reading a few comments that you were deeply disturbed by seeing this in the frame, and it's just a fuzzy microphone. It's a wind barrier, in case you're curious. But let's get started with the book review, shall we? That's what you came here for anyway. Okay, so first off, I've got 3 different books. They're all from Wiser. They're a wonderful publishing company for spiritual and occult and witchy type of books, so I highly recommend checking them out. I will leave the link down below for that and each of these books as well. But the first one I'm going to get into is The Medicine Bag, written by, is it focused? Okay, good. Don't need any more mishaps this time. Written by Don Jose Ruiz. I'm bad at this. This book begins with a foreword written by his father, and it sets the tone so good. It kind of makes me feel like I'm being welcomed into just an aspect of their lives, and it's very inclusive and it feels very warm. Because then the intro and the rest of the book follows. The essence of this book, I can only really describe as sitting around a campfire with a very wise father figure as they tell you beautiful metaphors about life. That's kind of what this book feels like, to be honest. The whole book focuses on healing the self. Something that I took away from this book was nothing can be healed if the healer is wounded. You know that thing of you can't love somebody else until you love yourself? And it's basically that, but so much bigger than that. Because it's so focused on healing the self and self-reflection, the shadow work exercises in this book is phenomenal. So this exercise I really liked because it kind of gives you a broad look on things. And it's called The Web of Your Life. I quote, "Just as scientists have updated their beliefs about a limited linear food chain to a more holistic and non-linear food web, we can update our own beliefs about the past, present, and the future of our own lives." So I'm going to take you through this exercise. So it asks you to prepare and gather a large sheet of paper, some colored pencils or markers. From the book, begin thinking about the web of your life, with you at the center. Just as a spider sits on its own web, draw a circle that represents you, and then draw lines radiating outward to represent the aspects of your life, the people you love and care about, your work, your commitments and responsibilities, your pets, your hobbies, your spiritual practice, your emotional well-being, and your physical body. Draw small circles at the end of each line and write the category that it represents. This is the web of your life. So, while it may include the categories I list above, you will likely think of others that are specific to you. Let this process take you in any direction that it wants. Try to be a witness and not a judge as you create your own personal web on paper. When your web feels complete, look over the things that you've written and marvel at the intricacies, the beauty, the complexity of the story of your life. The web is both a work of art on paper and a representation work of art that is the story of your life. Next, consider where you are in terms of balance and cycles in each of these areas. Look at the web as a whole. Are you feeling balanced among all these categories, or are you currently spending too much time and energy in one area and not enough in others? Looking at the web of your life on paper is a good way to recall that your life is a work of art and that you are the artist, as well as a reminder that all of these circles are not you, but simply a part of your story. The real you is the Nagal energy that witnesses and creates the story of your life. I suggest doing this practice within the change of every season, on or near the equinoxes and solstices, and anytime you want to bring balance, change, and awareness to the art that you are creating, the story of your life. So that should give you a good idea of what these rituals and what these exercises will bring to you. There are so many rituals and ceremonies in this book that is provided for self-reflection, self-healing, self-understanding, and it's a really good, wholesome book. The biggest thing that was a takeaway for me from this book was, over the course of reading it for about 4 or 5 days, it's a consistent reminder that everything is connected. And I know that everybody knows this, we understand that everything is connected to a point, but to be consistently reminded, because I like to read my books in the morning when I wake up and right before I go to bed. And so I had a constant reminder, everything is connected, everything is connected. And there's a difference between knowing this passively and actively being aware of this. It's a total different perspective change, because you do things differently. You do things intentionally more often, and it's just really cool. I think that even if you don't pick up this book, having that consistent reminder that everything is connected, everything is connected, everything is connected. So something that popped out to me was the power journey on page 20, on page 200. So the power journey really stuck out to me, and I think a lot of it is because it involves travel. The things that you need for it is a spirit of surrender, the willingness to step into the unknown, your chosen destination, and a paper and pen or other tools to make a roadmap. At least from what I took from it is that you pick a place that you are drawn to choose a specific place and go there, to physically bring your body from where you are to the place that you're thinking of that is drawing you in, and to bring a journal or a pen and paper and jot down just things that you notice. Try to put into words what it is that's drawing you, even if it's the building, the history, the landscape. Trying to understand the element that place brings to you. So like I said, I'm going to try to be pretty quick about these books because I am chatty and I can definitely go in further. But overall, this was a very comfortable read. It was very easily accessible rituals and practices that you can incorporate to better understand yourself, to better understand your spirituality, your emotions. Okay, so we have that book done. The next book that I've got is... a lot of you will like this one. All right, so I read these books in opposite order that I'm about to share with you. I'm sharing with you in the order that I suggest reading them. In my Earth Day video, you may have seen this book, Conversation with Plants, The Path Back to Nature, written by Nikki Nikki. I love this book. I liked this book a lot for multiple reasons, because it was kind of just everything that I love all in one book. And what I mean is everything that I would like to get from a book about a specific topic, this book included. So much information in an average sized book. Like this is a smaller sized book, and it is packed like to the brim with information. A large portion of this is the actual biology and the science behind plants. It is a little tiring on the brain if this is something that's new. This isn't just something that, you're probably going to read just casually in the morning. This is definitely something that is more of a study book, but it has so much information. It's so good. That being said, it's a very good balance between very heavy scientific terminology and explanations and spiritual aspects of things. Nikki plugs in a few of her different experiences, and as an herbalist teacher, interacting with her students and kind of getting different perspectives from them. She talks a lot about how we really need to switch our ideas and our views on plants and on medicine. It's a really inspiring book. There's just I can't keep this one short, if I'm being completely honest. There's just a ton of really good information, but this is not really an easy read. It's a good read, but it's not easy, if that makes sense. It's definitely something that took me a little longer to get through. This is a very average sized book. It probably took me 2 weeks to fully get through it. Gives examples of herbs for the nervous system, and she will list them out, but not just randomly. It'll tell you stimulants. Here are the different stimulants. Relaxants. Here are the different relaxants. special senses. Here are the different, and she even breaks it down into that. So it's not just for the nervous system, it's specific uses for the nervous system. Like I said, this is such a detailed book. If you are interested in herbalism or just working closer with the earth, this is a wonderful, wonderful book to pick up. With Conversations with Plants combined with The Herbal Alchemist's Handbook, a complete guide to using magical herbs and how to use them by Karen Harrison. So these two together, very inspiring and very motivating to start creating these things for yourself, because what this book is lacking, the other one picks up, and what Conversation with Plants is lacking, this one picks up. And Conversation of Plants is not lacking a lot, let me tell you. This is a pretty good book for beginners. If you are interested in mixing your own elixirs, in mixing your own tonics, in mixing your own incense or baths or salves or balms, all that witchy stuff, this is a very good book to pick up. I feel like anybody who is going to be doing that and creating their own apothecary, this should be in their library. Not only for magical instances either. If you are just interested in working with herbs and working with the earth and creating things like that and using these things in your active life, this is a very good book to pick up, even if you're not using them for any spiritual reasons. However, if you are using them for spiritual reasons, this has a lot of good information about how to create mixtures and blends using astrology and numerology to infuse those energies into your blends and mixtures. It's a really good reference book, which is why I think that a lot of people should have this one in their libraries, because it's straight to the point. It's not a lot of fluff. Again, I'm not one for fluff in books. I like things that are very impactful and effective and useful. One interesting thing that I did find in this book was an interesting way of creating blends was the point made of creating custom blends for a person to balance out what energies are missing in their natal chart or numerology energy in their name. Now, I'm not somebody who is well versed in either astrology or numerology, so that's probably another reason why I just didn't connect the two. I mean, as far as I know, I don't have any water in my chart, so to create custom blends to balance out my earth and fire energy in my natal chart with more water and air. That's the basic idea, but she breaks it down into how to really do that. So the last half of this whole book is a whole list of herbs, and its common name, its scientific name, the element, the planet, the parts used, and then the uses of the herb. The thing I liked is that it's categorized herbs by planetary energy. And then there's a few pages on moon phases, planetary days, and week correspondences, and then the elements and the corresponding herbs. Then peppered through, there are also formulas and recipes. Something I do wish was included at the beginning rather than at the end of the book was that there was a chapter on necessary supplies, and it splits it into two different sections of herbal supplies and magical supplies, which I also very much appreciate because, some people might pick this book up and really not heavily want it for just the spiritual side. So the fact that they split it up into those two categories, I liked. There's also really good little tips along the way, which I personally love. Just little things like you don't want to put your bath salts in a metal tin because the bath salts can easily erode a metal tin, and then that is added into your bath salts and you don't want to bathe in that. That's just something I wouldn't have thought of. And there are a lot of bath salts that are provided in tins. So I just would have assumed that that would have been fine. So it's really good overall, a very good beginner book. It's a good reference book to pick up or to just have in your apothecary at hand. And it's good at explaining how to work with and mix energies. These two books, I would if you're gonna get one of these, I would push you to try to get both of them eventually. Reading these two together really inspired me to work more with making my own incense. I'm still kind of weird about making my own oils, but we'll figure that out. I'm not much of an oil blender. I don't know what it is. I'm just not. amazing at it, but you know, practice makes perfect, I guess. But it did inspire me to make my own infusions and started having me work even further and more often with the native plants that I already work with. So instead of just using them in magical practices, I was also driving way out into the hills away from the roads and harvesting some of the plants and turning them into teas and you know, finding elderflower everywhere and making some elderflower cordial, which was so good. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to read these books and then become motivated and inspired and curious to then immerse myself into my native plants and actually work with them on totally different levels than I previously have. And I know some of you are going to ask about the incense that I was blending in the B-roll. These are the first times that I have blended these specific incense and have used them. So first allow me to use them and experiment with them in spell work before I give you the recipes, because if they're not great recipes, if they don't have a good impact or the impact that I wanted, then I don't really want to share those if they're not useful. Oh, there's a helicopter. Breaking my blinds. These are my book reviews. I have not been doing much else in quarantine other than reading and making videos. So you get book reviews. I've been trying to make them a little more interesting, so hopefully that's working instead of just my talking head, but let me know. I do like the feedback, but I would love to hear your feedback if you've read these books or if you're interested in reading these books, and or if you already worked with plants and you are kind of on the edge or are an herbalist yourself. I would love to know what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really does help me and all of your YouTube creators that you enjoy. And as always, I wish you all the best. Best of luck. Be kind to each other. And may your gods treat you as you've treated others. Bye. I'm literally wrapping up like right now, so it's fine.
You got a shot of something?
No, it's my tea.
I was like, wow, you got pre-workout.
I'm like, I got my whiskey on the rocks. I'm ready to film. I am hungry now, and I'm really fucking sweaty too.
Just want chips.
Oh my god, I'm so sweaty.